Tim Walsh, you were lifting up the youth ministry as one of the, just by nature, most beautiful environments in which to seek a healthy environment, an environment in which young people could heal and be whole in the face of the temptations or the experiences of substance abuse. There are an awful lot of elements that go into a youth ministry environment, and an awful lot of things that we seek, we intend, we try for, but what are the elements that you would tick off as these are the elements of most youth ministries that are actually most important for the dimension of risk and well-being that I'm thinking about?
Well, in my experience of both facilitating a youth group and then as a result of that, learning from and experiencing different community-based, shared experiences with other groups, I find that the most successful groups, first and foremost, have that open, very honest, very direct, we love you as you are. You're not a human being in preparation of becoming a human being. You are whole. Come on in, we love you as you are. I think that messaging has to be absolute forefront, and again, you can't fake it, right? So authenticity in that message. And that again comes back to, if you're showing up, there's an authenticity there that's pretty dependable. The other part of authenticity I also believe in is the transparency between the youth leader and the kids, that I'm also still figuring things out as I go and letting them see some of that vulnerability when appropriate. And I'm talking more along the lines of programmatic snafus and that sort of thing, right? Kids love it when adults are self-deprecating. It just makes them feel a little bit more connected. So creating that true sense of I belong here, and however you feel you best can do that, trust that instinct, go with that instinct, and most importantly, create direct feedback from the group, from the kids. One of the best ways to do that is have peer leadership, right? Having kids learn that they are in a direct role with their peers, having kids who are a little older shepherding the kids who are a little younger. You and I have both experienced tremendous success with that model. You can't better back that statement that you're whole as you are than to say to a kid, now you go, you're in charge, and I'm going to be over here if you need me. We don't leave them alone completely for lots of reasons, but they still want to know we're there and we're in their corner. So having a real structure that allows for a national progression of responsibility and has a natural progression of direct mentorship within the peer group. And I'll come back around to the mentorship piece. People use substances, in my experience, in my opinion, for that sense of experience. There's something there. There is something potent that is very hard to recreate without the actual substances. What I find very fascinating in not every youth event I've ever been in, certainly in a church setting, but in many instances, is shared worship from a youth perspective. Music ministry, to me, is just so magical. Kids today, every kid, myself, we love music. Music is an emotional ignition. It's rocket fuel. Kids connect, especially with modern music that is in the vernacular of the faith. So giving them access to and then encouraging their involvement in, creating the song lists, creating the interaction, creating call and response. Just again, you have all those pieces, right? Community, mentorship. So many wonderful things that come out of music ministry. Huge fan, as you know. One thing that cannot go unsaid, if you want to get young people to show up for anything, pizza. Gotta have pizza, right? And there's something to that, right? They have to be nourished. There has to be, I don't know how nourishing pizza is, but there has to be something for them to feel like they're filling themselves up. Does that make sense? And again, this is maybe more metaphorical, but I believe there's substance to this, that when you feed them, when you give them something to nurture their body, you're acknowledging something in them that maybe gets overlooked. And the kids don't know that, but there's something unconscious there. But the very overt aspect is kids love pizza, so get them some pizza. And then that's also around, I think, the idea of breaking bread together. We have the ceremony, we have the ritual, we have communion, we have ways of being very specific about that. But there's something very magical about a bunch of kids passing a loaf of bread and blessing one another. You can't make that up. That you cannot recreate in an environment elsewhere. And I also go back to, I believe these are things in our DNA that go way, way back. Sacred circles, you and I have had many conversations about that. Kids want sacred space. They want to set their own rules for space. There's been studies done that if you take a kid who's gotten himself in trouble and give the kid the opportunity to meet their own punishment, they're going to be much more severe about it than you would have been. So it's similar to creating sacred space, I believe. If you give a group of children the opportunity to create a space of sanctity, where what is said, what is shared, what is experienced is for that group to have and to hold, they respond. So that level of trust rapidly grows among the community and spreads. And again, trickles down through this culture of direct mentorship. So a few basic elements, I think. Feed them. Feed them well. Nurture their natural curiosities and their natural abilities to be creative and to be creators of the environment itself. Give them opportunity to celebrate one another, to find their voice, and really encourage that this is their community. It's not yours, it's theirs. You just get to witness and get to help shape, but it's theirs. Those fundamental pieces gives you all the buy-in you ever need. And then you stick it on them. Oh, by the way, remember I said this is yours? Well, now step up. It's your turn to step up. Because the really way to make it yours is to give it to someone else. That's how you really own something, in my opinion. When your baby gets to be someone else's baby, right? When you really have that transition of ownership to the next generation. And the more we can give that direct mentorship very authentically, the more the kids are going to naturally respond and step up into those roles. And the other thing I love about that is in youth leadership, or in youth mentorship, especially through ministry, very non-traditional roles of leadership, typically, than what we see in maybe our corporate culture or our business cultures and even academic cultures. There's a very different shift of power, if you will, in who steps up. So I think youth ministry is one of those really key places to give some of the underserved opportunities to be in a leadership role that maybe they don't fit in any other areas of their life.